average out, the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what you just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just go for it.
Hey folks, buckle up. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about stories making waves on the internet. A tale that blends politics with the glitzy world of daytime TV. You guessed it. We're talking about Senator John Fetterman, and get this, it's about a lawsuit. Yes, Fetterman is taking legal action against none other than The View co-host Sunny Hostin and the show's producers. This is big, like massive, shaking up both political circles and the talk show scene. But why should this matter to you? What's really going on behind the scenes? Stick with me as we unravel this saga step by step.
That about the J6 people too, though, right? That's what they're going to say on the other side. That is
no, I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the New York trial, and now the Democrats on our side there were some that were gleeful, calling it like now he's a convicted felon and those things, and now for our party we were talking about criminal justice, and we're now talking about second chances, and now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trials, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was politically motivated, and those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could realize that they could weaponize.
Let's start with the basics. Senator John Fetterman, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, is known for his outspoken, no-nonsense approach. He's always championed equality, justice, and speaking his truth. But this takes things to a whole new level. Recently, Fetterman appeared on The View, the iconic talk show famous for its spirited debates and lively discussions on everything from politics to pop culture. But during the live broadcast, what should have been a straightforward conversation took a sharp turn. Sunny Hostin, one of the show's hosts, made a series of remarks that reportedly struck a nerve with Fetterman. While the exact details of her comments remain under wraps due to ongoing legal proceedings, Fetterman claims they were damaging and potentially defamatory. Now, he's suing Hostin and The View's producers, alleging that the remarks harmed his reputation and that the producers failed to intervene.
They had a placebo group and they had a vaccine group because they wanted for military readiness to see if the flu shot was prophylactic against coronavirus. What they found is actually the people who got the flu shot were 36% more likely to get coronavirus. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu shot, you're more likely to get coronavirus. Look, all you have to do, Alan, and this is what Cochrane said, is look what's happened to longevity in the elderly since we started mandating the flu shot to elderly people. Those are the people who their life expectancy has dramatically gone down as the flu shot proliferated. And if you see, the people who died during the COVID crisis.
Why does this matter? Well, this isn't just celebrity drama. This case raises serious questions about media accountability and the balance between free speech and reputation protection. In an era where everyone's words can go viral instantly, this lawsuit highlights the importance of responsible journalism. A platform like The View, with its massive audience, has the power to shape public opinion in real time. What's said there matters, not just for the guests, but for everyone watching. Fetterman, known for his unfiltered political style, is making a bold statement. He won't stand by when his reputation is at stake. And this isn't just about him. It's about setting a precedent for how media platforms handle sensitive discussions.
It's his son, after all, and people do have sympathy for that. But a lot of people are angry with him about it. What do you say?
Oh, well, I think it's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate, and I really think collectively, America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases, and we cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents. And it's very clear both trials were politically motivated and weaponized that on the other.
Joe Rogan even weighed in, emphasizing that in today's world of instant information sharing, responsible journalism has never been more critical. Shows like The View carry immense influence, shaping public discourse and perceptions.
Are you on The View?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a rabies infested.
Sunny Hostin, famous for her candid and often provocative style, isn't new to controversy. Her unfiltered approach is part of what makes the show engaging. But in this case, her comments have landed The View in hot water. This lawsuit raises bigger questions. How far are public figures, especially politicians, willing to go to protect their reputation? And how much responsibility should media platforms bear for their content?
In a new Netflix documentary series about New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he said he's heartbroken about friends and family cutting him off for his controversial political views and conspiracy theories. And a lot of Americans can relate to this, especially after this last election. So, do you think it happens everywhere?
What I recall about him is when he was asked about the COVID-19 pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, when people had lost loved ones, when people's family members were missing from their Thanksgiving table, like my table, he said, "I'm immunized." And as it turns out, he was not. He had done his own research. He has his Google MD like I do. And I think he said he was allergic to something in the vaccine, but he had COVID and he was in a huddle with his teammates. And I think people felt like, wow, you don't care. You're not your brother's keeper.
This could really,
That's
could really
what I think
turn
it
me
was
against
a
football.
morality.
At its core, this is about the delicate balance between free speech and defamation. While we value open, honest discussions, it's crucial to respect the truth and protect individuals' reputations. Where do you stand? Did Hostin and The View cross the line, or is Fetterman overreacting to the unpredictability of live TV?
In a million years, I would not take the flu shot, and I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. They're getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said that the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for corona.
One thing's for sure, Fetterman isn't backing down. Taking on a powerhouse like The View is no small feat. Some call it brave, others see it as necessary for holding media accountable. This case has legal experts watching closely. It could set a new standard for how defamation cases are handled in the age of social media. Will this lead to more lawsuits over on-air comments, or is it just another fleeting media spat? Either way, this is shaping up to be a pivotal moment in the ongoing conversation about media power and responsibility. So what do you think? Are you siding with Fetterman, or do you think The View was just doing its thing, stirring the pot for ratings? Let us know your thoughts. Stay tuned for updates, and we'll catch you in the next one.